So at the beginning of this, I just want you guys to know, I intentionally do not read these articles that I'm going to cover before I do the videos because I want my reaction to be genuine. But I'm going back to tell you right now that I looked at the details of what just happened to Conor in this court case, I'm an atomic bomb. And I'm telling you, if you want to just skip to that part, there will be a timestamp. But this is crazy what just happened. This judge just murked Conor in a way that is so crazy. So crazy, okay? And what he did with the accuser and the co-defendant, I mean, anyway. So I just want to make sure that I make clear that this is a big story on the Conor side. So if you want to skip timestamp wise, but this is a big story too with the Jon Jones stuff. So things are getting worse for Conor McGregor. I can't believe that I'm even saying that because it seemed like they couldn't get worse, but he lost again in court today. And he's also facing an additional fine in addition to this additional judgment that just went against him today in the same case. This is wild, dude. And to be clear, he's facing a fine because of what he posted on social media after the trial, which is insanity, okay? It's I can't stress this enough, okay? Actually, we're going to do this Jon Jones story first, and then we're going to do the Conor McGregor story, but you need to hear what he is facing this fine for what he posts on social media, because it is so egregious that they are potentially fining him for this, and I need the opportunity to explain to you guys why. And also, I want to go over this story as well, where former UFC star makes wild claim about Conor McGregor's finances and legal issues. And the legal issue and specifically the financial claim made is that he's going broke. Okay. Now that's misleading, but not inaccurate. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. It is inaccurate, but not exactly. Okay. I'll tell you exactly what I mean, because, it's like, it just depends on what your definition of going broke is, because what we're talking about is, here is how Conor McGregor has lived. Here is how Conor structures his finances. And here is what's happening now. Because by any stretch of the imagination for a wealthy person looking at this, they're going to be like, yeah, he's going broke, man. It's a horrendous situation for him to be in. I cannot stress enough. Like, this guy is in dire straits, and I am not happy about it. If you guys have been watching me consistently, obviously I'm going to retell a little bit of the story. I just want to make sure that when I kind of sound like I'm defending Conor, because I do not think this is justified what's happening to him right now, I explain why. Because if you're a person who has only heard one side of the story, you're like, why are you defending a person who assaults women? I'm a person who has 3 daughters, so I will very briefly go over that again when I talk about this. But yeah, Conor is in serious financial trouble. There's just no question about that. But then also, in a much more exciting story, when you read this, it sounds like this is Dana throwing cold water on a potential Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou fight. Okay, and if you look at here, same exact thing. Dana White rejects Turkey Al-Sheikh. Oh man, I apologize. I'm butchering this name. I should know how to pronounce his name. I apologize in advance. Turkey Al-Sheikh's offer to send him to the moon by making Jon Jones versus Francis Ngannou in 2025. So when I assume that what I'm going to end up titling this is something about Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou's fight being real, it's going to seem like I'm making things up. And I'm telling you, I am not. Because when you actually get into this story and you read the quotes, this is straightforward. There is not cold water on this fight at all, okay? And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about, because what Dana says here, where he's, where he's rejecting it, is he's doing the exact opposite of that, okay? He's doing the exact opposite of that. That is, like, what he said is not rejecting it at all, okay? This is being taken, like, they're reading this incorrectly, but anyone who kind of can read between the lines here will understand that fight might actually happen. I actually thought there was a very, very, very low chance of that happening. The only way being if the Saudis were willing to pay an enormous amount of money, which it sounds like they are. But like, I think more people assumed that this was real. And now I'm saying, like, I actually think this might happen. If Jon beats Tom Aspinall, because it looks like that is going to be the fight that's next, I think there is a very good chance that this fight happens. And, yeah, and like I said, I'm going to show you exactly why. Now, we're going to start with the Jon Jones story, but first, go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you don't mind. Takes 1 second. Like the video. Comment your thoughts down below. Tell me what you think. And as I do, I'm going to give you the opportunity to make $50 really quick. I'm not just going to make you look at a sponsor. I'm going to show you the best sponsor ever that's going to give you $50 for free for about 90 seconds of your time. Now, if I told you that you could make $50 for free if you take 90 seconds of your time to do something, it's something that you would do, especially if the 90 seconds is going to be something fun. Because that's exactly what PrizePicks and I are offering you right now. I want to be very clear. There is no gimmick here. There's no chance where this does not lead to $50 free for you. There's nothing you have to pick right. There's no game you have to win. If you play a $5 roster on PrizePicks, you will get $50 into your account whether you win or lose the roster that you entered. How much you can win in addition to the automatic $50 depends on the size of the roster that you pick, but I'll let you play around with that a little bit. Now, you also could try to win real big and play more than $5, but you don't have to. Take a look over here. Look at what I stand to win if I hit this roster. Hold me accountable to this. I'm putting it on my channel. I'm putting my face on it. Hold me accountable, and also hold me accountable to this. This game is super fun. You're going to want to play. As you can see on the left side of the screen, all you do is go through the athletes that you want to pick in a specific sport. In this case, we're doing UFC because my girl Rose Namajunas is fighting on Saturday. In addition to MMA, they have college basketball, college football, NBA, NFL, any sport you can think of, you can play on PrizePicks. Now, in the roster you see over here, this is obviously a UFC roster. I'm playing a $5 game, which means if this was my first game, I would see a free $50 put into my account the second that the game starts. So come join me for PrizePicks. It's an amazing game. You'll be supporting my channel and you'll be getting free money. Also, look at my roster, take a screenshot, and then you can see how I did. And also, I want to know who you guys are picking. Send me your rosters if you want. Link is in the description. Use promo code JesseOnFire for the $50 bonus. And that is what it is. All right, so let's start right here because I imagine when people heard me say that this fight's real and everybody had seen what Dana White put on the internet or on social media, they're like, he's lying. No, I'm not. All right, so let's go through this really quick and then we can all collectively start rooting. I mean, listen, I'm not saying root for Tom Aspinall over John Jones. Or I'm sorry, John Jones over Tom Aspinall for any other reason than if you really want to see Francis versus John Jones, because I think that is highly likely to happen in the event that he wins. Okay, so this says Dana White rejects Turki Al-Sheikh's offer to send him to the moon by making John Jones versus Francis Ngannou in 2025. So earlier this week, Turki Al-Sheikh made headlines when he teased that he could send Dana White to the moon with an offer to make the super fight between John Jones and Francis Ngannou. Okay, so what does that mean? Again, I just want to make sure that we're clear on why that is an incredible thing that he's saying. You're not talking about regular fight promoter money when the Saudis say that. You're talking about like imagine that you have like a few businesses and all of their budgets are based on normal business metrics. Example, we bring in $100 million per year. We spend $90 million per year. We profit $10 million per year. Great job. 10% profit ratio or, EBITDA is whatever. Okay, like that's how a normal business functions. Honestly, and in most cases, they'll try to spend that money because they don't really want to profit. It's a whole thing, regardless. Okay, but that's how business works. With the Saudis, this is not normal business. This is not like these other fight promotions that are like hemorrhaging money and it matters. This is a side project for them that may or may not have something to do with their standing on the global stage. But one thing that is for sure is that these are the wealthiest people in the world if you remove like central bankers who essentially control the currency globally, okay? This is the Saudi royal family. They have money that is unfathomable to people like us, okay? So like to put this in perspective, okay? $1 million, I'm sure all of you guys can wrap your brain around $1 million. A lot of money. Most people save their entire life to get to 1 million and then, hopefully, and then they can retire, whatever. Okay. $1 billion is 1,000 million dollars. Okay. 1,000 million. So 200 million times 5 is 1 billion. These guys are trillionaires. Okay. So you're talking about 1,000 times a million to get to a billion, and then 1,000 times a billion to get to a trillion. Okay, and they have so much money coming in constantly from the oil money. Like, this is not a normal business metric situation. So when he says he can send Dana White to the moon, he is talking about offering him such an absolutely ungodly amount of money that the UFC cannot say no. Okay, that's what he means by send them to the moon. He's not saying like, oh, if I let you fight Francis Ngannou, wow, what a huge marketing vehicle for the UFC. That's not what he's saying at all. What he's saying is he's going to offer them an amount of money that they cannot say no to. Just for the record, I want to make sure that that is clear, okay? However, the UFC CEO does not appear on board with Turki Al-Sheikh's super fight suggestion. Instead, he's focused on making the undisputed showdown with interim champion Tom Aspinall. Correct. That is absolutely right. So So Turki Al-Sheikh might be credited with redefining this modern era of super fights in the boxing ring, but the chairman of General Entertainment Authority has been cautious about making such a move towards the octagon. That was until earlier this week when Al-Sheikh told Ariel Helwani that he has two options for PFL King Francis Ngannou. One was in the squared circle. The other was with UFC champion John Bones Jones. So this is his quote. I have on the table, this is Al-Sheikh's quote. I have on the table two options for Francis, one in MMA and one in boxing. I want to discuss with him. In MMA, you know, all the time my answer is all the time we want to do the biggest fights. Yes, it's John Jones. We need to send Dana White to the moon, okay? Like, this guy's not delusional, okay? Like, a person who would think that, like, this fight sends Dana White and the UFC to the moon from a marketing perspective, that's not what he's saying, okay? These guys, these are absolutely top level elite, no equal business, like visionary people. He is not saying that this is going to help the UFC from a marketing perspective. He's talking about money. Okay. He's talking about money. So he says both PFL CEO Peter Murray and Ngannou have stated they're open to making the fight with the Predator. Okay. There's only one fight, the right fight. Okay. Of course, like, quoting anyone else involved in this, like, of course the PFL is like, yes, let's do this. Let's go. You know? But unfortunately, while Ngannou, Al-Sheikh, and the PFL might be on board with the super fight, UFC Dana White, CEO Dana White wants nothing to do with the enormous cross-promotion showdown. That's a misread of what Dana said, okay? In response to an Instagram post by Nashar MMA on Al-Sheikh's tease, Dana White vehemently rejected the offer. Absolutely not true, okay? And then he said, wait, this is not going to give the entire quote? It says, the quote was absolutely not true. John Jones versus Tom Aspinall is next. Okay, let me just make sure that I'm not misquoting that because it's on this one. Okay, so boom, right here. Okay, this is Dana's exact quote. Okay, not true. John versus Tom is next. Next. Okay, he didn't say that fight's not happening. That's what I'm saying, okay? Is if Al-Sheikh says, we're going to send you to the moon, which I can't even imagine what that dollar offer is going to be, and Dana says, not true, this fight is next, that's not throwing cold water on that fight. That's saying they're not doing it next, and he's negotiating, okay? This is a negotiation. Remember how John Jones has been pretending this whole time that he wants to do Pereira? I mean, I don't know if he's pretending, but we all know that what he's actually doing, saying he's going to retire, that is negotiation. I'm just going to beat Stipe and then I'm going to walk into the sunset. That's negotiation. I don't want to fight anymore. You have to pay me to get me to come back. That's what this is. Tom versus John is next is not throwing out that fight at all. That's not what that is. What I read here is this fight can happen. It's just not happening next. And he's like, basically what Dana's going to say is like, look, if you want me to do a cross-promotional fight between my heavyweight champion and the heavyweight champion that we lost to free agency and risk potentially verifying that the best heavyweight in the world is Francis Ngannou, you're going to pay. Absolutely pay. Because Dana's in a very strong negotiating position. And if you think there's not a number that Dana would do this fight for, then you are out of your mind. I mean, just bottom line, you are wrong. If you really believe that there is not a financial number where Dana would do this fight, you are smoking crack. That's not correct. 100% there is a number. You think like if these guys are all, hey, Dana, we'll pay you $15 billion to do this fight. You think he's going to say no? Now, I'm not suggesting they would actually pay that much to do it, obviously. But if he did, then Dana does a fight, which means there is a number they would do it for, which means that's why Dana's not throwing cold water on the entire thing, because of course he wants to have a negotiation to make this happen. And what I'm saying is I think that these guys might they might seriously pay a number to where Dana will do this fight, you know? Now, there is also another way of looking at this, which is Dana is not going to disrespect these guys. Bottom line, right? Dana can tell anyone in the world to go fuck themselves except for these guys, you know? I mean, there's a handful of other people. But obviously, based on Dana's behavior globally and how he's carried himself throughout everything, as soon as the UFC really made it, Dana was like, mask off, I'm going to say what I want. That's why he's my business hero. That's why he's my hero, period. Now, that is not a term that I throw around, okay? As a matter of fact, he's the only person I would ever say, that guy is my hero. Now, if we got in the same room, I'm not going to ask for his autograph or anything. I would be like, like we would just get along. But when I look at someone and go, that's how I want to live my life, that's it, dude. Get on the global stage and be like, Bob Arum is a fucking piece of shit. Straight into a camera on ESPN, okay? But not these guys. You don't fuck with these guys. No one fucks with these guys, okay? And so this fight for real might actually happen, and let's all hope that they offer a number that he cannot say no to. Now, again, I don't like the idea of rooting against Tom Aspinall because I really like him, but I also really like John. That's going to be I'm going to be very emotionally torn on that fight. When Tom, this is just a quick aside before we move on. Like John Jones, I am a big legacy person. I love watching legacy in real time, which is exactly what we're doing here with John. So a part of me, of course, really wants John to win. However, John is on his way out age-wise. Tom is on his way in. He's undefeated. I don't consider that loss to Curtis Blaydes legit. So he's it's legit, I guess, but he's injured. We all know, no one's going to look back and go, oh, that one loss that he had, Curtis Blaydes really got him. It's like he kicked him and he kicked him and hurt his own knee. And for those of you who don't remember, when they fought again, he beat him in 1 minute. 1 minute. Curtis Blaydes. Now, Curtis Blaydes has gotten finished by other guys who are in this conversation, like Francis twice, but nobody finished him in 1 minute. You know what I mean? But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I've said enough about this. Let's move on to Conor McGregor. All right, so Conor McGregor, I want to talk about the case really quick and talk about the fine that he's facing and also this judgment that went against him. So here is exactly how this goes. So the judge has now ruled that Conor McGregor is ordered to pay the legal costs of Nikita Hand, which is 1.5 million euros. Okay? He got cracked for $1.5 million. So he got cracked for 250 in the judgment. Okay? And now the judge just added 1.5 million euros on top of that. That's that's over $2 million. Okay? And again, I will just keep coming back. I would encourage all of you guys to go watch Mixed Molly Wapari's video from last night where he covered all the details. He gives no opinion at all. He just goes through the details of the case. That's it. He goes through all the medical evidence. He goes through all of this, and then he goes through the CCTV. And I will just reiterate, while you guys watch this, keep one thing in mind. I am not challenging the medical evidence. The medical evidence is obviously there. But there are many claims made by Nikita Hand. There is no evidence that Conor is the one who hurt her except for her word. And every single other claim that she made, which was then subsequently verified or not verified by videotape, many of them videotape, or testimony by multiple witnesses, every single one ended up going against her story and completely discrediting it. Okay? Not one thing that she said was verified by a single other witness. And the CCTV videos completely contradicted her. A couple things I didn't know. Conor left the hotel. She called Conor on the phone 2 hours later. Okay? Do you know a lot of people who would get their face beaten in, get pulverized, get their face or get their body beaten in, and then get, violently raped, and then stay at the hotel partying with their friend on video for multiple hours. And then they're like, oh, hey, what are we going to do? I know, I'm going to call the guy that violently raped me, hey, man, what you doing later? It literally, every single fact, it goes against her story. That's why this makes me so upset when I look at this, is because once a liar, always a liar. Everything has verified she's a liar. We all know she's a liar because she lied about every single thing to her boyfriend. She lied about all this stuff, and then she lied about the CCTV. She lied about this, literally, and her word is the only thing connecting Conor to the injuries. The only thing. Anyway, okay. So this comes as High Court Judge, Mr. Justice Alexander Owens said he is considering a proceeding of contempt of court against MMA star for allegedly scandalizing the court in a social media post. Okay, so in handing down his ruling on costs on Thursday afternoon, Mr. Justice Owens made no order in relation to the legal costs of McGregor's friend James Lawrence, who the jury found did not assault Ms. Hand. Okay, so she is supposed to have to pay for Lawrence's legal fees. But he didn't even rule on that. Okay, he didn't even rule on that. So he said Conor has to pay her an additional $1.5 million for her legal fees. And the jury already, or they already found that she was going to have to pay for Lawrence's legal fees, and the judge didn't even mention it. So he just tacked another €1.5 million on Conor and didn't even talk about the amount that she definitely owes to Lawrence. And then now he's talking about fining Conor in addition to that. Okay, you're talking about someone who was caught lying in every single time that there was an ability to verify anything she said. Literally, there are no exceptions to this, okay? Like, if you look at her story, she made how many claims? 60? Like, that are bullet points that are important. It's like, okay, this is an important detail, okay? If you just take for granted that there's no one who was actually physically in the room with her and Conor, and you're like, you're going to have to take her word or Conor's, okay? Every single thing that Conor said was verified by CCTV and both other witnesses. 100% of the other claims that she made was discredited by the videos and both witnesses. Zero, not one other thing that she said was verified by anything or anybody. Okay. And this is destroying Conor's life. We're going to get to the next part and listen, you guys could say that he has bad karma and all that. I don't disagree with that, but I'm talking about this case. Okay. I'm talking about this case. Shit's infuriating. Okay, so anyway, so the costs were made. It also means Miss Hand will pay her own costs in relation to her civil case against Mr. Lawrence. Oh, wow, that'll be hard after Conor gives her 1.75 million euros. Hand sued Mr. McGregor, okay, yada, yada, yada. And so in delivering his ruling, he made the decision of awarding Miss Hand costs. Following the defense put forward by Mr. McGregor, he relied on what Mr. Lawrence claimed had happened on the day of the incident. He said both men were acting in lockstep in their defense, and it would be inappropriate to award costs to Mr. Lawrence, even though the jury found he did not assault Miss Hand. Oh, I'm sorry. So oh my God, I misread that. Okay, so check this out. This is what actually just happened in this case, okay? So they went to court today to figure out who's going to pay for whose costs, okay? So this woman who 100% is caught red-handed lying about everything that had to do with Mr. Lawrence, okay? So she was going to have to pay for Mr. Lawrence's legal fees, okay? Everybody knew that because she sued him and then he was found not liable, okay? Well, the judge decided that she's not actually going to have to pay. Even though she sued him and she lost, she doesn't have to pay $1 to him. However, Conor has to pay her 1.5 million euros in addition to the 250,000 euros that he was awarded by the jury. So he took how much she was awarded in the case and then multiplied it by 6 and then added that on top of it. And then said he's going to fine Conor for scandalizing the court because the court was told Mr. McGregor tweeted that he didn't believe Miss Hand and accused the court of behaving like a kangaroo court. The social media post was constructed to be an attack on the jury and cannot be tolerated. I haven't decided on that, but I can if I want to instigate a proceeding against Mr. McGregor for contempt of court, which could result in a fine. He is a very rich man and who could very well afford to pay the fine. There was a tendency to allow a matter like this to pass unremarked, the judge said. If he did post the text, it was highly irresponsible. This is absolutely unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So again, let me just finish reading what he said. The court did not have discretion to make the wider costs ordered contended for. Mr. Farrell said it was extraordinary that Miss Hand pursued a civil claim against Mr. Lawrence when she said in evidence she did not sleep with him. Again, oh my God, man. Okay, so I forgot about that. So, okay, this woman, okay, just to put this in perspective, these are a couple things now that we know in addition. To put this in perspective, this woman claimed she did not sleep with Lawrence, the other guy. Okay, that's her story. She claims she didn't sleep with him. She never wavered from that. When CCTV showed her walking around with him, kissing on his arm, hugging him, leaning on, all of this after Conor supposedly, brutally raped her so much that she couldn't walk and she has bruises all over. She's still hanging out with this guy, having a grand old time. Okay. And in her story, she did not have sex with him. And then she ends up suing him for assault anyway, because he said that he said it. He's like, dude, I slept with her twice after this. We went back to the room and we had sex twice. Okay. She goes, I don't believe, no, that's not true. And I don't remember that. Okay. That's not true. And I don't remember that. Right. But she sued him for sexual assault. Okay. That's the level of nonsense that we're talking about here. Okay. She says, I didn't have sex with him. And then she sues him for sexual assault. And then she doesn't have to pay his legal fees. And Conor has to pay her an additional 1.5 million euros. This is insane. Like, this is actually insane. Like, I'm telling you, like, I would literally let someone chop my finger off if I'm wrong about this. Chop it off. You're like, the reason why people are so moved by this story is because of the level of brutality to the injuries, right? Because that's insane. Like, her injuries are crazy. Okay, well, you can't have it both ways. You cannot sustain injuries like she did and then suddenly just pretend you don't understand human behavior, where you have hours and hours and hours of CCTV footage of her hanging around the hotel with Mr. Lawrence, just chilling, dude, having a grand old time, going back up to the room, Mr. Lawrence, just chilling. And then he says he has sex with her. She says they didn't have sex. And then she sues him for assault anyway. She is a liar, man. Like, she's a liar. This is insane, dude. This is insane. Okay, so here you go. If the jury never believed Mr. Lawrence had sex with Mrs. Hand, how could they have failed to award her aggravated or exemplary damages? It was nonsense that Miss Hand had sued Mr. Lawrence. Right, so why doesn't she have to pay his legal fees? Okay, it's absurd. You are literally saying that this didn't happen, and then you're suing him for saying that it happened. And she doesn't have to pay him anything. Okay, now I'm going to call this a kangaroo court. Straight up, dude. This is crazy, man. And now let's get to this part about Conor going broke, okay? Now, I realize that most people who, like, have never had a lot of money, they don't understand what this means, okay? Like, there's a big difference between going broke and having total financial collapse, which is what's happening to him right now, okay? So I'll cut to the chase, because what this is a story that Brendan Schaub said that Conor McGregor is going broke, okay? And he didn't say going broke, but he's he's talking about the financial trouble that he's in. And I'm going to tell you right now, every single thing that Brendan said is 100% accurate, okay? And I'm going to tell you exactly what that means. And then again, if you have any faith in my ability to evaluate things or your ability to evaluate human behavior, and you look at this case, this did not happen. This did not happen. And again, this is not me riding Conor's dick or anything. Like, you can go watch the video Gabrielle and I did on this case originally before we knew about the CCTV, and both of us were like, dude, he's done. How many videos have I done about Conor when he attacked the woman on the boat, all that stuff? Like, I don't just like take Conor's side. But this is ludicrous. He did not do this. It is very, very obvious. You just have to think logically, okay? But nonetheless, okay, so here's the situation. Conor, what has he lost? He's lost his Proper 12 sponsorship. He's lost, you know what? Just go like this. All of them, okay? He's lost every sponsorship. He's lost them all. All of his sponsorships are gone, okay? Now, I want to put this in perspective, okay? So I have someone in my family who was talking to me this last weekend about how much people get paid for social media posts given their following, okay? We specifically were talking about Sydney Sweeney. She said Sydney Sweeney makes about $1 million or more every time that she posts about a brand. She said that she knew for sure that she was paid $10 million for this partnership that she did with this company, where she did 5 Instagram posts, $10 million, okay? Conor is the face of Proper 12 and all these other brands, right? So what you can absolutely rest assured is that Conor probably had anywhere between 8 and 12 million a month coming in from those sponsorships, okay? But if you really want to be like, oh, maybe it's a little 6 to 12 a month, okay? From all of those different partnerships. Now, in case you haven't been paying attention to Conor McGregor's life, he spends that, right? He is going to owe taxes at the end of the year based on what he was making this entire year. He rips through this money. He's got boats. He's got staff. do you understand how expensive it is to live like Conor? I have always thought to myself, I'm like, this guy lives like a billionaire. You know, honestly, like, he lives like a billionaire. He spends like a billionaire. And now it just went It went from that to zero, just gone, just like that, gone. Okay. Like, I cannot stress this enough. Now, well, I'm sure a lot of you guys know this. Okay. Actually, why am I screaming about this? Let me just say this calm. Okay. So any of you guys who have had money, I'm not even educating you, but verify in the comments the following. Okay. When people go, oh, they've made this much money, like they've made all this much money in their life, they're not broke. It's like, right, they're not broke. But, okay, there is a massive, massive difference between we have this much money coming in and we spend this much per month. Like, I'll be honest with you, the key to happiness in life comes down to one thing: bring in more money every month than you spend, and by a pretty large margin, you know? Like, that's it. That's it. Now, anybody who's made it this far in the video, I think it's safe for me to say the following without people ragging on me in the comments. I intentionally have never talked about this because I don't want to sound like I'm flexing on people. But Gabrielle and our money changed dramatically in July. Dramatically. Okay. We had a couple things where two of our businesses exploded at the same time. Okay. Like, I don't know if I want to talk about numbers, but like, July, we made like $125,000, just July. Okay. We've never made money like that before. Like, I've had big like commission checks come in, you know, one-time banger like that back, you know, like before. Now, you guys know I had to file bankruptcy in 2015 or 2016. So this is not this is not, oh my God, just, but we've maintained that since July, every month, right around that, a little bit lower, a little bit more. I haven't even bought a new car. We paid off our cars. We've bought nothing, right? Like nothing. We're making well over $100,000 a month, every month, July, August, September, October, November, all, and tracking the same. Speaking of which, actually, anybody who has significant experience in network marketing, okay, we're not talking like, I don't even need to qualify this, okay? Like the company that Gabrielle works with is a company that has great products, and they just have foregone having this huge marketing budget, and instead they incentivize people to go and market the products themselves and then recruit other people underneath them to market the products themselves. Okay. So like we hit big over there at the exact same time that I hit big on my channel, and I got a bunch of massive sponsorships. So it kind of like it happened all at the same time. But if anybody has significant network marketing experience, hit me up. Okay. Not beginners. Maybe we'll open that up at some point for people, but right now we're looking for like people who have built big teams before, because this is the opportunity that everybody lives for, and it hasn't even hit momentum yet. Okay. Like it is just going to continue, and we're early, and the company's completely stable. So I'm just going to throw that out there. Anybody who has significant network marketing experience, hit me up, email me, realjesseonfire@gmail. That's the only way that you'll get me. realjesseonfire@gmail. I will definitely see it, and we can talk about it again. Okay. So anyway, my point is, the reason why we haven't gone nuts and I haven't gone and, you know, bought a fucking $125,000 car is because I know, I'm old enough to know that that's not what makes me happy is having a lot more money coming in than we spend. Like, we haven't changed our lifestyle at all. You know, I mean, we were making money before. It's not like, you know, but like it is just a huge increase. Like, I think we made, I think all in, we probably made, I don't know, 400 or something like that in 2023, or maybe 450 or something like that. All in, like everything, 450K to 125,000 a month is an absolutely enormous increase. I think this is going to be like 30 minutes into hang on, let me just double check. Yeah, okay, cool. Just want to make sure that this is like way into my video, so only people who watch my shit consistently will see this, and people won't think I'm flexing fucking money on people. But anyway, but here's the deal. Like, if like what we did was I bought a bunch of cars, put our kids in a $5,000 a month, you know, like private school, bought boats, bought all this stuff to where all of a sudden now it costs us $95,000 a month to like live our life. Well, what happens if boom, I lost my channel and the other stuff that we're doing just imploded? Like, we're talking implosion. Like, Conor is going to zero. Like, he's going to zero. Okay, what do? We are fucked is what we do. We are completely, and that's what's happening in Conor. Now the numbers are bigger, but that's what's happening. Like that is what's happening to him. You know what I mean? Like this is, like he's gonna have a massive tax bill, dude. He's gonna have he running, like I think the Black Forge lost a couple $1 million last year. Like all of these things that he's doing are going to dry up, dude. Like he's gonna have to close down the restaurant potentially. You know, like he's done, like he can't just go to France for multiple months and spend, because like, dude, when you go to France for that long and rip around the thing, dude, he's spending millions of dollars that month, millions. And he's just able to do whatever he wants. And now it's gone. His ability to do all of these things is gone. And the story is a lie, dude. Like this did not happen. This girl is lying. This did not happen. I don't know, man. It's fucking rough, dude. Anyway, that's what I got. I love you guys. Bye-bye.